Welcome back, guys. Thanks for sticking around. We're jumping over the pond to a little bit of North America now. I'm Dolson for set number 3 of the day. Joining me now, same as the cast, now Gormizer joining me on the desk for our third set, of course. New team, old team, fun matchup to look at. One team, though, notably in the shadows. Of course, it's Sanguine versus Shadows here in match number 3, set number 3. But Shadows is a team that's kind of a weird conglomeration of, some ex-PPL players. We had some minor leagues shift up, some PPL shift down, and honestly, on paper, a lot of people are thinking the Shadows could be the team to beat.
And that's the thing I'm most interested to see, right? This is going to be a really, really good heat check for them to figure out where they are. It is worth noting, though, Sanguine, if I remember correctly, they don't have Vayne playing with them today, which is going to be a pretty big difference, I would say. I mean, Vayne does bring a ton. I mean, he's been in the PPL before. We saw what he could do in Split 1. He is an incredibly important point tank. And so Dethroner on the Shadows is going to have a little bit more maybe of an open matchup there to control the objective.
Well, for those unaware of the Sanguine roster, some swaps coming in there. It is Vayne, but as Gormizer pointed out, not playing today. Stigma, Baller Steve, Neo, Poison, and then Lasagna is the sub. I would assume maybe that's who is filling in for Vayne today. And then over on the Shadows side, some names you'll recognize: Dethroner, Edgem, T-Mac, Grace with 6 E's, but I'm just going to say Grace.
That's way more than 6.
That's like 12 E's. Tay, and then William 355, all on that roster. And like I said, I mean, you look at Dethroner, Edgem, T-Mac, Grace, Tay, William 355. I mean, that is a star-studded minor league roster.
It's a little stacked, I think, is the best way to describe it. I'm just interested to see how they work together. It's a bunch of players that, no matter where they've been all across the board, have been incredibly talented in their role, and now they're all together. But that's always the question mark. I'm pretty sure they've been playing in like community tournaments, doing whatever they can to try and kind of get things going. I know there's a little bit of animosity between Sanguine and Shadows coming into today as well. So like you're looking at this as like they are prepared, and a lot of this is just going to come down to teamwork, I think, between both teams.
I mean, talk to me a little bit about Sanguine, though. I mean, these are all names we recognize from the minor league. Between, of course, I mean, we'll gloss over Vayne. We'll touch on him when it's actually a match that he'll be able to play in. But between Stigma, Baller Steve, Neo, Poison, I mean, those are big names as well that you recognize. I mean, they have more than a chance, I think, to maybe take a win over Shadows today.
And here's the thing that stands out. When you have Stigma, you have Neo, you have Poison, you have 3 phenomenal DPS players who have been known for, 2 of them known for their blasters, and with the way things are listed, I mean, Neo is listed as the flex too. He's listed as like the guy who's going to be playing the off tank, your Atlas, your Makoa. That's something else that's going to have to stand out to me, is just this guy. I almost don't want to see him not on Bomb King, Drogos, et cetera,
Right.
But if he can have those performances that he's had on those champions on the off tanks, then this is going to be a really cool, really fun set.
Well, that's what Doodle did. Doodle flexed onto a little bit of the off-tank frontliner role in our last set, but I'm excited. Let's jump into the map bans for set number 3 of our day. Shattered Desert, Timber Mill. I'm kind of getting used to, I think, seeing Timber Mill banned out in a lot of these sets, and then Ascension Peak, Warder's Gate. So Ascension Peak and Timber Mill, less surprising to me. Warder's Gate, somewhat, I guess, raises an eyebrow, but every once in a while you just don't want to go to a map, and we'll stay away from it.
It's notably like all those maps in common a little bit bigger in my mind, so somewhere where maybe you're less comfortable, or at this point, depending on who it is, like Shadows banning those out might be these are really good sniper maps, and we know Stigma just loves playing Kinessa. Let's try to make him a little more uncomfortable. But I mean, I guess you get rid of 4 big maps, and there's still a few left in the game.
Yeah, Ice Mines is a big one. I mean, talk
about a Renegade set?
It might be. I mean, talk about a slow start to what could be a very contested set. Ice Mines it is. I mean, this is a map that caters itself to 4-3 score lines. I mean, you get a big mid fight, and then the other team's able to defend. I don't want to say with ease, but easier maybe to defend on this map. More unforgiving is a word that I like to associate here with Ice Mines. Torvald Makoa, though, first off the board.
This map respects excellence and just disregards anything else. If you come in and you just don't have the point fight that you want, you lose. If you don't get the push started the way you want, typically you lose. Like, it just does not give you room for error. And that's one of those areas, especially with Sanguine making some swaps, especially with Shadows coming in as, again, a new form team.
Right.
You kind of have to work around this. This is a very good map to equalize things. It's actually, I think, one of the best equal playing fields for any set. It's part of the reason, I mean, even in Split 1, Renegades chose this all the time because admittedly, if you know the map, you know the map well, then you can win it. But otherwise, you're almost guaranteed a 4-3.
I mean, maybe that's what's in store for us. I mean, I honestly, this is going to be a very telling map, I think, of the way that the North America side of the minor league goes, because on paper, I mean, we haven't seen Exile yet, we haven't seen 5-Stack yet, we'll see them in our fourth set of the day. You look on paper, though, these are maybe your 1 or 2 teams.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the question right now really is the order. And I think if we see either of these, if you get a 4-1 here, you're set. That's actually golden. And honestly, the dream, Ashe, Genos, and Nara, you're going for something aggressive, but I actually really love this. Pip is another question mark for me. In Europe, he's been showing up a couple times today. In North America, he's been very big. And I know Poison and Neo, even though I know Neo's probably going to be playing that off-tank, both love him, so not too surprising to see him come through.
I was going to say, I mean, you see the Pip locked in, you see Neo on a roster, you pointed this out already, but you expect Neo to then be playing the Pip that gets drafted, but maybe not today, since he's technically, as Gore pointed out, slotted into that Flex 2 role here. Furia and Willow, though, for Shadows, I think, you know, Willow's kind of been in that column of every once in a while, now we're seeing her banned. That dead zone's so impactful on maps with these close quarter kind of group up team fights. This map, Ice Mine's no different. That dead zone will make a big impact.
This is going to be a very, very back and forth. A lot of these champions are really, really, really good at Ice Mines, and that's very, very confusing for some of these. I think, like, Sanguine, their draft is very solid at the map, and depending on how Pip does, can translate to later rounds winning. But, like, this is a very good early game, like, take control and try to keep control, whereas Shadows, I think, get more powerful the longer they can keep the game going.
Well, it's going to be exciting. Ice Mine set number 1, or game number 1 of set number 3, I should say. 2 teams that know each other very well. Game 1, let's get into it.
Thank you so much, boys. This is going to be an exciting one, Kresnik, like they mentioned. Likely to be our 1 and 2 teams here in North America. Some XPPL talent starting to float around, a couple of roster switches between them. Which way do you lean just looking at these rosters on paper?
It's hard. I mean, you can't say no to the XPPL talent on Shadows, right? You know that they are a phenomenal team with phenomenal players, but they're kind of brand new in terms of getting together, and I actually think they have the worst draft in this game. Game personally, I think Genos Pip really great on Ice Mines, and if they stick with Cherish on the Furia, I think they're losing out on a lot of utility. I think Solar Blessing is just better on a close range map like this.
Okay, there's a couple of things missing. Frankly, Imani was almost a consistent motif on Ice Mines. Not super surprised to not see that, but it's something I definitely want to pay attention to as both teams ride up against each other on Ice Mines, starting to clash now. Nobody making their way in too aggressively, edge him low, but he's going to be able to roll himself out for the time being. No first blood just yet.
Yeah, both teams playing kind of patiently here. Edge to Throner trying to control this barn side, getting some big game poke onto Jalen, but his DR is going to save him for now. Right side control, Neo gets pulled in, Vortex Grip. They're not going to be able to confirm that kill, though. You need to have your team supporting you if you're running that Legendary. I mean, the CC, just it has to be followed up on.
Neu's starting to work his way around. He's going to actually dash out. Despite being full HP, that might be a call from somebody else, but right back in, actually, as Sanguine will give up first blood, but answer it quickly thereafter. Another kill to follow. This is a 2-for-1 in favor of the Shadows. Starting to collapse now, a 3-for-1. Mr. Grace up on the high ground, pounding on this Ashe, and Blast Flower does the rest.
Yeah, he's Neo is a player who's pretty emotional, so Grace, a.k.a. the artist formerly known as Payan, trying to get in his head, I think, a little bit. Yeah, trying to tilt him a little bit. I mean, I've been somebody who's played with him before, so he's just trying to get in his head, I see. Fayflight actually charged really fast here for Grace, getting a lot of poke there early. Really good ultimate for zoning.
The 184, bonus damage text. That's just funny to look at.
It's a big deal, though. It is a big deal. I mean, that's the fall-off buff plus Blast Flower into the DR. Just being able to put that on, he's not getting passive heal, he's not doing anything. It's still applying a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about this Blast Flower talent is that you don't, even if it's the lightest, most fall-offy hit you get, it's still going to give you that stack of the buff towards your next attack. 2 minutes on the clock, as the Shadows did off the back of their 4-for-1 exchange. Grab the first payload, charge a couple of the first ultimates. The zone was rock solid in the back of Fayflight. They're rocking and rolling, already about halfway through this payload push.
Yeah, Jalen contesting the right side here. The main side usually not the one fighting this off angle, but I believe the Ashe is just better on high ground, being able to shoot around those corners. They actually caught out Grace under in the mines. Little fight going on there. Find that early pick for them. Looking solid for Sanguine on the zone. This, as we know, is a very defense-sided map, so them being able to get this, not too surprising, but we'll see how much they can push this forward afterwards.
So getting that one pick, this is what I wanted to see next from Sanguine. Do they push up? Do they try and just stuff back on this defense? Do they try and reestablish the defense near where the point was fought over? Not quite, I think the answer there. The Inflame is going to be hit. The gas pedal is slammed. The Shadows surging forward, trying to get something rolling here. There's the disengage. The DR is going to try and stifle some of this damage, but big numbers start flying, and the first kill of this offense goes to the Shadows.
Yeah, they just caught out Jalen there on the ground. That Inflame really helps them move straight in. Jalen coming in. Actually, Overpower coming in, combo with that to save him. Great Overpower from Baller Steve. Taking down 2, actually, completely flipping that fight. Still 3v3, but Sanguine have a really strong defensive advantage. That was such an immediate response.
It's a great, dude. You wish you could
such a
see
good
it
counter.
more,
Yeah.
but you really got to give Steve the credit. That is it's really not as easy as
you don't have
he
a lot
just
of
made it look.
time.
You do not.
And even if it's a closer range Overpower, even if you get it immediately, sometimes he just walks away. The fact is, it was the distance plus Steve's amazing reaction time to get that in there.
Kate as well too, you know, support just for his troubles. Nice stuff there. I was not even aware Fury was over in that corner. I'll be completely honest.
I don't know if Steve did either. I'll be full disclosure. I don't think Steve did either.
He's happy to grab it. 15 seconds on the clock here. Quick assert dominance from Neo. He wants the shoulder bash kill. He's gonna get it. Steve finds Tay. 8 seconds on the clock. 2 for nothing for the defense. Means the offense is just going to fall back, and the round will likely come to a quiet end. No overtime as Neo dashes into a nice little Pyre strike there. Sanguine ring through a couple of headshots via the support. Take another look at that time and space. Furia just pushing up the stairs. Steve going for Khan, but he gets Furia for his troubles. Well done, Steve. Again, it's a great move. It's a great counterplay, but it's just not that easy as he made it look. A lot of people will try and get that done. Steve almost getting his ultimate recharged as well. Neo burning assert dominance there on the end.
I was just going to mention that.
Worth it just to kind of put the nail in the coffin on that first round?
On defense on Ice Mines, I'm really not sure. They have such a good defensive advantage. Victor Pip, really good at that long-range spam, playing in those spawn doors. So maybe not something that was needed, but they still have ultimate advantage. You know, I mean, Scout Inflame not quite there yet. They still have a lot to burn here. Maybe, you know, Evil Mojo followed up with anything, and Seismic Crash and combo with Barrage too if you want to get some quick AoE.